On 18th of April, Kenya lost its CDF General Francis Omondi Ogola in one of the shocking evening incident in Elgeyo Marakwet. Investigations are underway, and we believe and we trust that, as promised by the President William Ruto, the country will be furnished with the truth, nothing but the truth. And so I am not going to speak about that incident, or I'm not going to speak about it. We've always been seeing, Kenyans we've always been told to, let's wait for the report. However, the dominant question that remained in the minds of Kenyans is the discussion about the ill-fated chopper. And two stories emerged on that, the two questions that emerged on Ogola's chopper. Number one is the faultiness of the chopper. Number two, the story of chopper swapped last minute. Now, in the wake of Rigathi Ruto fallout, the nation documented that Rigathi was denied a chopper. I want to say for the record, in politics, there are things you can toss with. But the politics of chopper, when dealing with dignitaries, is very delicate. And this one I want to take to the doorstep of President Ruto. The politics of chopper is not something that should be taken lightly. I see more than what meets the eye. And this politics of chopper is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Let's look at some few incidences. You remember when Zit Livondo raised allegations about a chopper that was nearly killing former President Uhuru Kenyatta? At some point, while Uhuru Kenyatta was inspecting some project in Kisumu, there's a problem in the chopper. Hata likata thing kutoka. And on and forth. When Uhuru was going to attend inauguration in DRC, he had to use Ugandan Airlines. The intelligence around it was shrouded with mistrust. Why is a deputy president delegated a chopper? Not a chopper, a helicopter. Why is the deputy president delegated a helicopter? Official helicopter. The deputy president, the president, and the CDF and so on. Why they delegated a specific helicopter? Because of the caliber of that office. And so, I want to say, and I just want to ask provocative questions that people have been asking. Rigathi was supposed to fly to Bomet. He requested military boss chopper, this office. And then they were told that a higher boss, had refused and he will not be given that chopper. Then he was asked to pick another chopper, to hire a private chopper, which was also another last minute rush. Rigathi fumed and declined taking the private chopper. Allow me to be, just think within the box but outside the box. Do you think if Rigathi wanted to go to Bomet, he was to go to Bomet, just the mere fact that he didn't get a military chopper would stop him from going? Fine. Why do you think his office declined to use a private chopper if the reasons are legitimate? The reasons of not using the military chopper are legitimate. And so, he was told to use private and he declined. So let's move forward a bit. Even if then William Ruto gets away with it, comes back to office and resumes work, what will be his trust with using a military chopper again? There will be trust deficit. There will be a big trust deficit. That is, a helicopter is what makes politicians move from one place to the other. And that is why I insist. How about, we speak, Rigathi doesn't look a very good man with his truthfulness when he's talking to the public. But there are two things about him that I realized. His loyalty to William Ruto in public here is not questionable. It's not questionable. And the way he's trying to endear himself to Mount Kenya is also not questionable. So, they get a following and have a following. The chopper politics is very deep. How about if something would happen to him? Unajua tunacheza sana. Yes. How about if something happened to him? And remember, the story about Ogola is about a last minute swapping. The country then is questioning so many questions about this. But I want to interpret the real truth behind this chopper swapping. Number one, there is a plan to reduce political mobility of the deputy president. I'm just trying to think, looking at it this way. William Ruto has realized that Rigathi Gachagua is doing political mobilization. And there is a lot of political mobility on the office of the deputy president. And on this, I want to defend Rigathi. Because there is that gentleman in this country known as Ndindi Nyoro. Ndindi Nyoro is moving in every part of this country. And is charting his own path. See him in Marsabit, Mandera, Western, Mombasa, Kilifi, Tana River. And people have started now creating a picture like Ndindi Nyoro is on a campaign mode. Who is funding Ndindi Nyoro's local travel? Does he have all that money? And attending functions and giving millions, like a million, so a million this. Does he have all that money? The answer is no. So who is funding Ndindi Nyoro? So if Rigathi is moving, if there is a lot of political mobility on the side of Rigathi Gachagua, then the only thing that we need to say is on catch-22. William Ruto himself has activated the political mode within the Kenya Kwanza ranks. And all this chopper denial story, much as it can be pegged on what happened to Ogola, like now military choppers are not supposed to be used by politicians. That could be it. There is also truth to it. But it's also aimed at reducing the political mobility of the DP. Remember, that chopper, the helicopter that DP has been using, was actually, at one point, he was carrying youthful MPs there. But let's get the facts right. Just recently, I saw Kisumu Senator disembarking from a military chopper. If that chopper, if a military helicopter, if a helicopter is available for a Kisumu Senator, then there is absolutely no reason that it cannot be accessed by the deputy president. Let's be fair. Number two, could it be that this chopper swapping narrative at Ogola's death was actually true. If indeed we denied Rigathi chopper because of military helicopters should not be used by the politicians, then it could also be true. I'm looking at the other aspect, and someone asked me, the office of the deputy president is under the office of the presidency. So the person that assigns roles and responsibilities to the DP is the president. Is it a case of that office, the DP's office, lacking autonomy or demanding autonomy? You know, there are two things. The crafters of 2010 Constitution, I don't know whether they overlooked it or it was a mistake. Number one, we created president and the running mate. And the running mate is not an appointee of the president. They are elected with the president. So, and that is why we created then, that is what brought the politics of coalitions. In fact, that is what now brought the tribal inclinations very strong. Because if I get a president from this place, I need to get a running mate from this place. Look at 2002 and 2007. Who was Mwai Kibaki's running mate? Vice President Mudi Awori, after Kijana Wamalwa. Western Bukusu. And remember, by that time, of course, 2002, Mwai Kibaki had faced, went to the ballot with former President Moi, who was from Kalenjin, and he had picked Uhuru Kenyatta as the presidential candidate under KANU. So Mwai Kibaki was not under pressure to appoint someone from that tribe, big tribe, as his vice president. In 2007, do you know Raila's vice president was supposed to be, deputy was supposed to be Musalia Mudavadi. So there was no, and despite the fact that they all come from Western, there was no pressure. Now, crafters of 2010 brought in the running mate, and they did two mistakes. One, a running mate who is tied by the president. So by the time people are going to election, when Mount Kenya is voting, putting their 3 million on William Ruto, they're putting their 3 million on William Ruto knowing that they have a vice president. But at the presidency, after getting power, this vice president is supposed to be under the president. Then that's where the problem comes in. I think the constitution must create the autonomy. If we are going to go that way of running mate, then it must give the office of the deputy president autonomy so that it's not under the office of the president. And number two, I've realized that every president is always having friction with his deputy. Something is a mess. I know you cannot dictate and prescribe people's conduct, but there is a problem. Number two, someone raised this to me, and you can also argue around it. When Rigathi is flying, who should okay Rigathi's movement? State House. Then who should allocate him chopper? Is it State House, or he's supposed to make a call direct to military? And someone, one of our members here concluded by saying, is William Ruto uncomfortable by the fact that Rigathi Gachagua have a contact, was contacting military bosses directly demanding a chopper? And someone can tell us, when is going akitaka helicopter, anafaa pige State House ama anafaa atafute watu wa military direct? Because according to the story, he contacted the military guys demanding it, asking, then he was asked, the boss had said, the commander-in-chief had said no. So it's a question of, is William Ruto insecure by the fact that Rigathi had a contact, or rather Rigathi called the military guys direct? The politics of helicopter, I repeat, are very delicate, and we have to tread very careful. Even to Rigathi, maybe Ruto is unsafe, doesn't like the fact that Rigathi called the military guys direct. Maybe. There's only one commander in chief, so it doesn't feel comfortable. Thank you, guys.